Charlie, this is so gross and Islamophobic. Take it down. Charlie responded, debate me on the merits. Don't just throw out heady thought-terminating cliches. This isn't 2015. That doesn't work anymore. What Muslim country do you prefer to live in, Jessica? What Western city or country has improved as the Muslim population has increased? America's largest city was attacked by radical Islam 24 years ago. And now, a similar form of that pernicious force is poised to capture City Hall. Be courageous enough as a liberal to call it out. I know deep down you are worried about what you would do. You were just too afraid to say it. Jessica responded, I'm not afraid to say that I don't think Mamdani's vision for the city is a good one. And I think a lot of his policies are crazy. New York City is the home of capitalism, not socialism. I want more police funding, not to defund. BDS is repellent. We can't freeze rent, make everything free, but none of that has to do with him being Muslim. Charlie responded, so the guy that's about to be NYC's next mayor wants to boycott and sanction Israel. First ever major candidate to say so. But that has totally nothing at all to do with him being Muslim? You know it does. You were just terrified about the social cost of saying it publicly. It's okay, I'll do it for you. Jessica then finished with, have you seen all the white Christian and Jewish hipsters from Brooklyn that support BDS? It's not that he's Muslim. It's that he's wrong. Okay, so a lot to unpack there. First off, Jessica, we can't freeze the rent? What do you mean we can't freeze the rent? New York City has froze the rent a bunch of times within the last 10 years. They literally have a board that is dedicated to freezing the rent. It's not about can we do it, it's about if we should do it. Also, make everything free? Yeah, like free at the point of service, not literally make everything free. Zoran has literally gone line by line and explained how he's going to pay for everything. But whatever. It seems that Charlie thinks that Zoran's ideology is in, quote, similar form to Al-Qaeda, which is absurd. Zoran Mamdani is one of the most progressive politicians in the country. No person who says that they're for queer liberation is a radical Islamic fundamentalist. You're just being racist. And again, there is a racial component. If Zoran was a white Muslim, the attacks wouldn't be nearly as vile. Charlie also implies that Muslim immigration is ruining America's cities? How? He provides no evidence. So I did some digging. A few weeks ago, he tweeted out this. This is New York. We are being conquered and they are rubbing it in our face. Islam is steadily enveloping the West. Then there's a video of a TikTok that shows Shia Muslims celebrating Ashura in New York. The TikTok adds intimidating music to scare the viewer. But then the music stops playing. Wow. So scary. Look at all those brown people, Muslims, dressed in black, casually walking the streets of New York and holding up a banner. So scary. Look at that guy. Look, that guy's drinking. He's drinking something. What is he drinking? That could be a threat. This is definitely enveloping the West. It's hilarious to think that this is scary. It looks no different from Chinese New Yorkers celebrating Chinese New Year in public, or Irish New Yorkers celebrating St. Patrick's Day, or Jewish New Yorkers celebrating Yom Kippur. To say that this one is somehow uniquely scary above all others is Islamophobia. And Muslim immigration isn't ruining America's cities. Strict zoning policies and NIMBYism are ruining America's cities by artificially restricting the housing supply and making them unaffordable places to live. New York City, like America in general, is a melting pot that has had waves of immigrants come from all different parts of the world, and it's made America better. But for some reason, Charlie thinks Islam and Muslims are uniquely incompatible with the West. Why is this? What are Charlie Kirk's problems with Islam?
For anyone that has eyes to see and ears to hear and actually reads the Hadith and reads parts of the Quran, you know that conquest is an Islamic value. Islam has conquest values. They seek to take over land and territory.
Yes, because Christian countries definitely do not have a history of conquest. Absolutely no Christian majority society ever done conquest in the name of God. But Hadi, these aren't recent examples. Islam wants to conquer the West in the modern day. So true. So let's look at the modern day. Since World War II, Afghanistan has invaded 0 countries. Algeria has invaded 0 countries. Bangladesh has invaded 0 countries. Egypt, 2. Iran, 0. Iraq, 3. Jordan, 1. Lebanon, 1. Malaysia, 0. Morocco, 0. Oman, 0. Pakistan, 1. Saudi Arabia, 1. Somalia, 1. Syria, 3. Tunisia, 0. Turkey, 1. Yemen, 1. Meanwhile, the peaceful West with the United States has only invaded 8 countries. And if that number seems low, keep in mind that I'm using a very strict definition of the word invasion. This list doesn't even include Korea, Vietnam, Syria, or the Dominican Republic, which, while technically not invasions, were offensive conflicts with American boots on the ground. But no, it's definitely Islam that's rapidly taking over the West. Europe is now a conquered continent. It is not what it used to be. It's a husk of its former self, which is increasingly Mohammedan. So true. I mean, look at this map of Iranian military bases in Europe. Oh wait, sorry, no, this is a map of U.S. military bases in the Middle East. But buddy, these wars weren't caused by religion. Really? During the Cold War, American propaganda played up the narrative that the struggle between capitalism and communism was also a struggle between the Christian West and the atheist Eastern Bloc. Or how about when General William Boykin gave a speech recounting his confrontation with the Muslim warlord in Somalia in the 90s and saying that he won because, quote, my God was bigger? Or how about when George Bush referred to the war on terror as a crusade?
This crusade, this war on terrorism, is going to take a while.
Or how about when George Bush said that he invaded Iraq because God told him to?
In the Islamic texts, they spend so much time about people who do not share their values. There are like direct calls in Islam of what to do for those that don't believe, and it's a very pernicious preoccupation.
This is true. The Quran does call for violence against non-believers. Like, look at Surah Al-Anfal, which says, remember, O Prophet, when your Lord revealed to the angels, I am with you, so make the believers stand firm. I will cast horror into the hearts of disbelievers, so strike their necks and strike their fingertips. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 191, says this about non-believers. Kill them wherever you come upon them, and drive them out of the places from which they have driven you out. For persecution is far worse than killing. And do not fight them at the sacred mosque unless they attack you there. If they do so, then fight them. That is the reward of the disbelievers. And of course, most infamously, Surah Al-Janeen, verse 37, which states, if a man or woman living among you in one of the towns Allah gives you is found doing evil in the eyes of Allah in violation of his covenant, and contrary to my command has worshipped other gods, bowing to them or to the sun or to the moons or the stars in the sky, and this has been brought to your attention, then you must investigate it thoroughly. If it is true, and it has been proved that this detestable thing has been done in Arabia, take that man or woman who has done this evil deed to your city gate and stone that person to death. Horrible stuff. Except that last quote was actually from Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verses 2 to 5. Instead of Allah, it says the Lord, and instead of Arabia, it says Israel. Then, of course, there's 2 Chronicles, chapter 15, verse 12, which states, and they entered into the covenant to seek the Lord, the God of their fathers, with all their heart and with all their soul, but that whoever would not seek the Lord, the God of Israel, should be put to death, whether young or old, man or woman. It seems that both the Bible and the Quran have called for violence against and the murder of non-believers. But Charlie downplays calls for violence in the Bible.
Christianity spends a fair amount of time on it, but nowhere near Islam does it.
But plays up calls for violence in the Quran. In May, while in England, Charlie Kirk went on the conservative GB News and talked about the decline of Christianity in the West. And he said some crazy things.
Probably not, and that's what modernity is flirting with right now. And so then you get all these counterfeit religions. You get environmentalism. Why do you guys think you guys are doing this insane net neutral carbon stuff by 2050?
Right, yeah.
So you get rid of Christianity, and then you get a substitute form of earth worship.
Yes, because caring about the habitability of the planet we all live on is earth worship. I care about having a house charter, but that doesn't mean I'm praying to Bob the Builder.
You get rid of Christianity, and then you get a substitute form of anti-racism.
Okay, anti-racism is obviously not a religion. I don't know why Charlie would say such an idiotic thing.
You get rid of Christianity, and then, even more dangerous, you get from secularism into Islam. Because then you're like, well, we have to believe in something, and then you bring in a completely different ideology that's at odds. So with Western values.
So the people watching this now is saying it's just Islamists who are the issue. Islam as a religion is peaceful by nature, so on and so on. What's your response to that?
I know a lot of great individual Muslims. My primary doctor in America is actually a Muslim, and he's amazing. That's not the point. You can walk the street and be a great Muslim in London. The question is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not. There are three major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those three things are antithetical to the West.
Let's break these down one by one.
Islam does not believe in freedom of speech.
While the Quran doesn't have a blanket verse either promoting or condemning free speech, neither does the Bible. Sure, the Quran says that lying is a sin and gossiping is a sin, but these are both sins in the Bible as well. So are you saying that the Bible is against Western values? Sure, many Muslim countries don't have freedom of speech, but that's not because of religion. It's because they have authoritarian governments that punish dissenters. That's politics, not religion.
Islam does not believe in freedom of religion.
Well, this point plays into one of Charlie Kirk's arguments as to why Palestinians shouldn't have a state. That Islam is a barbaric religion that can't tolerate others. In fact, a lot of his Islamic arguments seem to center around one thing, Israel.
Can you show me an example of Jews living peacefully under Islamic rule?
I can't, but which was generally religiously tolerant of Christians and Jews. There's also Al-Andalus, Muslim-ruled Spain, which was very tolerant of Jews. In fact, Al-Andalus became a hub for Jewish intellectuals, and many historians say that a golden age of Jewish culture in Spain took place under Muslim rule. The Ottoman Empire was also very tolerant of Jews during most of its history. In many cases, way more tolerant than Europe. There's a lot more examples. In many Muslim societies throughout history, Jews were considered dhimmis, non-believers who were given special protection and tolerance in exchange for paying a tax. Jews have lived peacefully in many Muslim nations for thousands of years. It was really only until Muslim countries declined and faced hardships when Jews started to get scapegoated. Yet blaming minorities for social ills is very common in every society. Charlie Kirk is doing it right now. Anti-Semitism isn't just a Muslim problem, it's a human problem. Now, of course, the Quran doesn't actually believe in a true freedom of religion, but neither does any religion. Pretty much every major religion thinks that it's the correct religion, and that believing in others is heresy. So far, all of Charlie Kirk's arguments as to why Islam is incompatible to the West also apply to Christianity or any other religion. But finally, Charlie Kirk says Islam is against the separation of church and state.
And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state.
Okay, but Charlie, you don't believe in separation of church and state either. Charlie Kirk used to straight up say that he doesn't believe in the separation between church and state.
Again, there is no separation of church and state. It's a fabrication, it's a fiction. It's not in the Constitution. It's made up by secular unionists. It's derived from a single letter of Thomas Jefferson wrote to the Anglo Baptist Convention. Of course, we set church and state work together. Our founding fathers believed in that. We go through the details of that. They established literally a church in Congress. Anyway, separate issue.
Okay, so first of all, while the Constitution doesn't explicitly say there shall be a wall of separation between church and state, it basically all but does. Because it does say, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Congress can't establish religion? Seems like separation of church and state to me. And also, just because Congress may have a church inside of it where individual politicians can go and worship, doesn't mean that the U.S. government and U.S. law is religious. Politicians can have their own religion, but government can still be secular. His point doesn't prove anything. Again, Charlie Kirk used to explicitly say separation of church and state isn't a real thing, but now he's more weaselly about it. He says stuff like, well, it depends on what you mean by separation of church and state. Do you believe that there should be a separation of morality in state? No. And where do we get morality from? The Bible.
More importantly, let's forget church and state. So we both agree there's no separation between morality and state.
I agree.
Okay, that's where I really live. What I'm saying though is the church has influenced that morality. That's what I mean by it. Because at some point, people are going to have to make a decision of what is good and what is bad, what is permissible and not permissible, and I think the church or Christianity should inform those decisions.
Okay, but then the Quran is also a moral guide. Christians and Jews have the Ten Commandments. Muslims have Surah Al-Isra, which, among other things, bans murder, adultery, arrogance, tells people to honor their parents, the poor, and the stranger. Most religions have moral codes, Charlie. Why are you pretending that Christianity is the only one, or the only one that says good things, like murder is bad? So to recap, Charlie Kirk doesn't like Islam and Muslims. Why? Because they have a culture of conquest, even though Christian countries have had the largest empires in the world. Because they kill non-believers, even though the vast majority of Muslims and Christians are peaceful people, and even though the Bible also says to kill non-believers. Because they're against the freedom of speech. Not really. The Quran doesn't say much about the subject at all. Islam isn't against the freedom of speech. Dictators and authoritarians are against the freedom of speech. It's because they're against the freedom of religion, even though plenty of Muslim societies throughout history have tolerated non-Muslims. And finally, because they don't believe in separation of church and state, even though Charlie Kirk himself doesn't believe that church and state should be separate. And that's a common trend that you'll see a lot from the far right. Every accusation about what they think Islam is actually a confession of what they truly believe. Let's do a comparison of the views of Charlie Kirk and radical Islam. Intolerance of LGBTQ people.
We must react politically. We must ban trans-affirming care the entire country. Donald Trump needs to run on this issue.
Check. Supports rigid patriarchy.
Hi Charlie, I'm Addie and I'm 14. I'm a freshman in high school and I was wondering, as someone who has like a different opinion on college, what would you say the pros and cons are? Because I'm interested in political journalism.
Let me also speak to some of the young ladies here in high school where your top, if you're, who's here where your top priority is get married and have kids? Raise your hand. Okay. Interestingly, I think there is an argument to bring back the MRS degree. And, no, seriously. And just be clear, that's why you're going to college, right? Don't lie to yourself, like, don't, like, oh, I'm studying sociology. No, you're not, we know why you're here. And that's okay, actually. And that's a really good reason to go to college, actually. If you think about it, like, I say college is a scam, but if you're going to find your life partner, like, that's actually a really good reason to go to college.
Check. Justifies war crimes.
How do you differentiate between an innocent civilian and Hamas militant?
Yes, this is part of the tragedy of war, that they did not invite, that Hamas did.
Check. Thinks that religion should be deeply involved in government.
Of course, we should have church and state mixed together.
Check. Thinks the influence of the opposing religion is a fundamental threat to society. Large, dedicated Islamic areas are a threat to America. Check. And finally, intolerance of non-believers. Well, that one's obvious. Check. Does this mean that Charlie Kirk is a radical Islamic terrorist who wants to bring Sharia law to the United States? No. He's just a far-right conservative. And a racist. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Thanks to all my new subscribers who came here from the Soy Planet. Your support got us over the 500 subscribers. I'm so happy to finally achieve that. Once again, thank you so much to the Soy Pill for picking my video to shout out in the segment Oops, All Ladders. It's a massive honor. I've been a huge fan ever since I discovered his channel, and it's honestly just a huge compliment to think that my videos are worthy of a shout out on his much larger channel. Thanks to him, my trans rights video is low-key kind of blowing up. Let's keep this momentum going. If you like this video, share it with other people. Let's try to get to 1,000 subs. I also wanted to say how touched I am by all the trans people who came out in the comments saying how much my video meant to them. It's moving, and I just wanted to say that you guys are always welcome in this community. Until then, I'll see you in a few weeks for my next video. Not sure what it's going to be about yet, but I have a few ideas.
If you're thinking about getting a contour pillow, you need to hear this first.
From being at the very top of the fragrance world to losing his mind and his fans in just a few years with his weird behavior, my name's Ryan, and today we're looking at the story of Jeremy Fragrance and how his entire life and career fell apart one after the other. Jeremy Fragrance was one of the most unique success stories on YouTube. Real name Daniel Sredinsky, Jeremy carved out an unexpected niche for himself, reviewing perfumes. He started his YouTube channel all the way back in 2015, where he would just review perfumes, while also sharing his life behind the scenes as a model. Dressed in sharp suits and starting every video with his iconic spin, Jeremy wasn't just describing colognes. He was selling a lifestyle. He had an uncanny ability to communicate scent through a screen, something very few people had achieved on YouTube back then.
Two fragrances for you to show. For example, this is a Dark Rebel Rider, which smells like a Harley Davidson man. It smells like tobacco, leather, and whiskey. And this one, Spice Bomb. This smells like an explosion of spices, super dominant, super aggressive, but super bold and somehow sexy.
Fans would frequently comment saying, "This guy can make you hear smells." Whether it was a seductive evening cologne or a clean everyday wear, Jeremy made viewers feel like they could smell it through the monitor. He assigned each different scent their own personality and explained the scent through describing what kind of person he imagines wearing it.
The daring category. Okay, this is your daring fragrance, and ladies love a man that is bold, that is daring, because you need to have courage.
In addition to his good looks and confident character, he often interviewed female models to get their opinions on different perfumes, to judge what's the best choice to wear for a certain occasion. Being able to watch women's reactions to men's fragrances drew millions of viewers to his channel, which grew to over 2 million subscribers in just a few years, and amassing 10 million followers on TikTok. Another thing that separated Jeremy from other YouTubers was just how genuine he was with his audience, something that was hard to find. His videos would contain no cuts, and even if he had to go off screen for an entire minute, he'd just leave it in the video.
I gotta open the door with
We received some new samples.
And sometimes he'd intentionally go off camera just to do something crazy random.
I will smash my head into the wall now, but not too strong.
And fans would just wait patiently instead of clicking off, just because of how hooked they were to him. As one of them commented, "I love how this guy is just himself. He's unapologetic, enters the door in the middle of a video, slams his head into the wall, checks his mic to make sure it's recording, etc. So good." But fame, especially when built on your image, can be a double-edged sword. And for Jeremy, the cracks began to show. Jeremy's confidence in audience always made him seem trustworthy to his audience, with people going as far as saying, "You could literally sell me air and I'd buy it." But he decided to abuse the trust of his loyal followers when he started his Patreon to ask fans for their support, claiming he needs money to buy a new laptop to edit his videos. However, fans were shocked when just weeks later, he made a post titled, "My New Car."
And today I'm going to sign the contract for my new car, a Ferrari 458 Italia.
He then proceeded to buy the Ferrari, something that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, while he had been pretending to be financially struggling to even afford his own. Fans were understandably upset that they got lied to and used, and Jeremy made it even worse by deleting negative comments under his video to the point where only positive comments remained. However, fans started discussing it in the comments of a re-upload, saying he literally begged for donations and then went and bought a Ferrari with them. It's sad and genuine. I hope you look in the mirror one day and sees what he has become. Although, years later, he revealed that he had changed his ways and sold the Ferrari.
I got rid of my second most important valuable materialistic possession, which was the red Ferrari.
But he still never addressed the issue, which was how he lied to his loyal fans and took advantage of their money for personal gain. This would only end up foreshadowing the kind of person Jeremy was becoming, as his popularity only began to skyrocket from there. However, Jeremy's career came under fire once again when he attended an event hosted by the New York Young Republican Club, where Donald Trump was a key speaker. Jeremy posted Instagram stories alongside two German far-right figures, Alexander Klein, a 31-year-old YouTuber and prominent activist within the German branch of the identification movement, and David Dendels, a 38-year-old editor-in-chief of the Deutschland Courier, known for his ties to the right-wing populist party alternative for Germany. In another another picture, he also posed with the Austrian right-wing politician and TV commentator Gerald Gross. After these selfies surfaced on Jeremy Fragrance's Instagram stories, multiple major brands, including Sky Deutschland and Aldi Nord, publicly ended their relationships with him and removed content or ads featuring him. His publisher, Heel Verlag, also dropped him, stating it would not reprint his books or work with him further. Jeremy was also on the verge of making a major deal that fell through.
I should have had a big money deal with a German fragrance chain, which would have given me about 300,000 to up to more than $1 million, and it just exploded because I was in a show where I took pictures with multiple people, and one of those guys was a right-wing guy.
On December 21st, 2018, at the peak of his career, Jeremy decided to use his experience with fragrances to create his very own perfume brand, Fragrance One, where he collaborated with the legendary perfumer Alberto Marias, who has designed perfumes for brands such as Calvin Klein, Giorgio Armani, Marc Jacobs, and many more. Together with Jeremy, they created Fragrance One's very first perfume, something that seemed very promising.
So this will be called Office for Men. It is our very first fragrance, the best office fragrance currently on the market in my eyes.
And his idea behind the brand was quite innovative, to make it easy for people to find the best perfume for every occasion without being overwhelmed by the number of options on the market.
I have tried to find the best solution for you to skip the jungle of fragrances when you go into a fragrance store. Oh, which fragrance should I take? Does this last long? Is this mass appealing? Do I get compliments? Which fragrance should I buy?
And thus began the start of Jeremy's Kickstarter campaign, as he needed his loyal fans' crowdfunding to turn his perfume into an actual company and bring it to the market. His campaign had a goal of 25,000 euros, which was achieved within just minutes of posting his video. Even after the goal was reached, people continued to donate money, raising it to a staggering 800,000 euros, making it the highest crowdfunded fragrance in history. And his dream of starting a perfume brand finally turned into reality, and Jeremy started his aggressive marketing campaign. Office for Men was initially planned to launch at a price of about 39 euros or $45, but before the release, Jeremy decided to significantly increase the price, stating he felt the fragrance felt more worthy than a 39 euro perfume. When it finally launched, the price was already very high at around $160 for a 100 milliliter bottle, comparable to many luxury perfume brands. However, things took a turn for the worse when people started calling him a scam artist after he suddenly decided to triple the prices on February 4th, 2019, very soon after releasing the perfumes.
Why the price of my fragrance will be tripled soon? Fragrances to me are like an art form, and some cars to the extent are also an art form. And what does a car manufacturer do? They produce a very small amount of cars to make them exclusive. We will also produce a small amount to keep us exclusive.
But that didn't make much sense, as this was supposed to be a simple office fragrance, not something that cost a fortune. Even more suspicious was how cheap the production was compared to the actual price on the market.
First, you buy the glass bottle. The glass bottle is about 50 cents, 50. Then you got the sprayer right here. This is another 50 cents. So we're at $1. Then you got the cap. This is another 50 cents. Then you got the box around it, which is another 50 cents. So you're at $2 now for this empty stuff. You need the juice inside. The juice is the most expensive one. It's about $3. So 3 plus 2 is $5. And then you pay for the whole packaging, so it must be filled and everything. That's another $1. So about $6 in total, and you have a finished fragrance.
But Jeremy was justifying the high price by comparing it to a priceless artwork.
As you know, a Picasso painting or some other champagne is also very low in production, but it's not the actual value of it. So don't underestimate the actual value of a fragrance.
Right now, his most expensive fragrance sells with a hefty $559 price tag, and despite Jeremy's justifications, most people in the fragrance community considered his perfumes way overpriced and not something reasonable for an average consumer. People started mocking his perfume, saying it was an absolute scam. As if that wasn't already bad enough, stories started surfacing of people ordering his perfume online and getting ghosted and never receiving his perfume, not even being able to contact customer service about it. However, this was barely the start of his problems, as over the next few years, Jeremy's entire online empire came crashing down. Jeremy always seemed like he was the most well put together influencer on the platform, wearing a freshly pressed suit and looking charming all the time. However, his content changed drastically in 2023 when he suddenly grew religious and his posts became very different from his usual style.
Jeremy Fragrance, the #1 fragrance icon that follows the teachings of Jesus. Nobody has done what I have done in the fragrance industry. I'm the best in the category of fragrances. I'm Jeremy Fragrance, the #1 fragrance icon that follows the teachings of Jesus.
And he switched completely to a white outfit wearing a cross on his neck. Gone were his days of elegance and grace. He now had hollow eyes and a face that seemingly aged over 10 years in just a few months. His new brand motto was Jeremy Fragrance, #1 fragrance icon that follows the teachings of Jesus, which was something he commented and pinned on all of his own videos. This drastic behavior change was a huge shock to his fans, as they commented saying, what happened to him these years? The fame over the years had gone through his head, and he viewed himself as the best fragrance influencer of all time, despite all the controversies and questionable behavior on his part.
But I'm the best #1 influencer. #1. Of course, of all time. Hello, I'm the first of my kind in that scale.
Jeremy also started posting bizarre and questionable pictures of himself on Instagram, but as short-form content across the world, he also transitioned to creating YouTube Shorts and TikToks. He started posting the same unusual clip of him 5 times in a row to see which one performed the best before deleting the others. However, he soon found out the best way to stand out was to do something completely unexpected and unhinged, and that's exactly the direction he went for, starting with funny and strange clips of himself. To slightly weird dances that left fans confused and questioning all their life choices, to unnecessarily sexualized perfume reviews, to whatever on earth is going on here. People started growing more and more concerned, commenting things like, the behavior he is displaying is that of someone who is struggling with either substance abuse or has a mental illness. It's very sad considering how he was when he first started out. It wasn't always just about perfumes, sometimes it was even about food and drinks, like his passion.
Who's ready to see some tasty? It's crunch time. Ooh, hands like honey. Nothing lucky about that catch. Justin just left him in his center dust. Whoa! Now that's one tasty touchdown.
Plus to certain cooking ingredients.
Oh, this is literally my favorite smell. You know what this is? It's ghee.
And his overly emotional reaction to Nutella, which just showed how much his expertise in fragrances had deteriorated, as just a few years ago he had said this.
Here, gentlemen, imagine this smells like the tastiest Nutella fragrance you can imagine. If you like the taste of the chocolate.
And now, all of his content had turned into slop with no real value. But unlike his reaction to Nutella, his reaction to pizza took things to a whole nother level.
The smell of pizza. Okay, let's smell it. I want to have sex with this pizza.
As did his unusual obsession with human milk.
Milk is the most similar to mother's milk. It smells so gorgeous. Oh, yeah! Yeah! It smells trustworthy because butter is similar to mother's milk a little bit. I post this on TikTok so I can't be too explicit.
Given his new appearance and bizarre behavior, People started calling him a nicer, hornier German Homelander, but his fans were starting to get genuinely worried, saying things like, "Is this man okay?" And the concerns only grew after he posted shirtless videos of himself, where despite being muscular, he looked sick and very thin. This was a huge difference when compared to how he looked at his peak, and fans were begging him to take care of his health, saying, "Bro, you don't look healthy for real, and please Jeremy, it's time to start to bulk." When confronted about his behavior, he'd only have a narcissistic breakdown in front of the camera.
And I got the six-pack, I got the good vibes, I got the red Ferrari, I got the golden Rolex, I'm a millionaire, I love what I do, I say fuck you, you f***ing ass if I want to say that.
As his videos started getting more erratic and his health also seemed to be headed downhill, his fans started speculating about what had happened to him, saying things like, "I think him inhaling all those fragrances has damaged his brain," while the majority suspected Jeremy had started taking drugs, with every bizarre video getting comments like, "A solid 18 lines today." However, he denied all the drug accusations, claiming he behaved this way intentionally just for views.
I know what works, of course. I know that the jumping energy person works a lot, and I do it without any drugs. Very good for me.
Have you ever done drugs?
No, never in my life I've taken any drugs except drinking alcohol.
And that he doesn't mind being accused of doing drugs by his viewers.
How many lines did you have today?
I see that as a compliment. As many guys that used to approach women when they were younger, at least in Germany.
He then made a video just to reassure his fans, but they only pointed out the ridiculous scenery that was taking place in the video, saying as he walks down streets shirtless, eating protein powder off lettuce in a cardboard box. People were instead taking this as confirmation of him being on drugs. Another piece of evidence was how even his long-form videos started getting weirder over time, where sometimes in the middle of a fragrance review, he'd just make a super weird comment.
Perry Alice 360 Red. I love it, man. It's the dildo of the fragrance industry.
And then completely break character and go off on a tangent.
Yeah, it's not so funny actually. Still don't know how to talk about the topic of masturbating.
Finally realizing that he has overshared, he'd quickly wrap up the topic and proceed as if nothing had happened.
Alright, ultimately, of course, I want to have a girlfriend and a wife. Turning a girlfriend into a wife and have great kids.
Without even revealing the scent he was supposed to talk about, leaving fans questioning it and saying, so overall, the fragrances of loneliness and edging, it wasn't just a one-time behavior, as his videos often feature strange remarks coming out of nowhere.
I'm not gonna say sex with all of you girls, but I want to have like high five to all of you guys. And I love it, baby. I just jerked off a little bit, not to the sense that I came, but it gives me a certain type of a strength. And the night, I want to tongue kiss a sexy woman right now. Oh man.
And sometimes it even crosses a line of what should be allowed to be on a random fragrance video on YouTube.
Can I get a hoo-hoo?
Is there always a section?
Today I did not jerk off before my video, which I normally do, but I keep my semen to have a maximum impact on my face. You gotta handle and understand your sexual energy. It gives you the ultimate power. It gives you the strength to convince people.
As more and more people started noticing his bizarre behavior, he was soon getting called out for being the strangest man on the internet, which led him to getting invited to various podcasts and interviews where his weird behavior continued, like the time he casually got up and did push-ups in the middle of an interview.
I say it in English. It's written M-A-Y-B-E. Whenever I said that, I did push-ups to punish myself.
¡Munición máxima! Los espíritus nos ayudan.
It seems like Jeremy's antics had led him to escape the fragrance niche, and now the entire internet was watching his weird behavior and laughing at him. And as one viewer commented, Jeremy has gone from a fragrance reviewer to a comedian. This sort of weird behavior not only affected his personal image on the internet, but also impacted his brand, Fragrance One. Although Jeremy had been the one promoting and marketing the perfumes, the company was actually founded by both him and his brother Kenneth Bank, where Jeremy was the face of the company and Camille was the one managing everything behind the scenes. But as Jeremy's mental and physical health changed, so did his marketing tactics in 2022.
What happened is, in May of this year, maybe some of you remember, Jeremy decided to close down the brand. And he did that in a way where he would just go online, as he always does, post a video about it, and then people were asking me, like, what's going on, Camille? And I said, honestly, I have no idea.
And it seemed like Jeremy was starting to keep his brother out of the loop with what he was doing with the company, just because he wasn't supporting Jeremy's weird behavior.
Jeremy's original reasoning about it was that he wants to be more creative again, he wants to be an artist, and wants to have less bureaucracy. His version of bureaucracy is me being concerned about his mental health and also his effect on the business, to be honest, because the way he's been doing things over the last couple of months and years have not been doing well.
Finally taking it one step further and showing just how selfish and narcissistic he was.
He basically said from one day to the other, Camille, you're out, and you should do your own thing. There's healthy ways to disagree and to separate. However, the way he did it, this was extremely disrespectful and very problematic.
Not only had Jeremy been rude and hurtful, he had also betrayed the trust of his own brother and business partner.
This being a family business, I decided to not sign any paperwork and just be cool with Jeremy's handshake agreement and my handshake agreement on a certain equity split, and I guess I learned from that.
Camille, who has his own YouTube channel called Sense of Benefits, eventually managed to acquire a few products from Jeremy to sell them on his own website, where it's much cheaper compared to the ridiculously high prices that Jeremy sells at. This was Camille the respect of the fragrance community, while Jeremy only garnered more concern as people were saying, man, it's sad to see how much Jeremy has lost his way. Doing your family dirty like that is just wrong. He definitely needs help, and I hope he gets it somehow. Eventually, he announced that he was shutting down his fragrance once and for all in an Instagram post saying, goodbye to my fragrances, selling all my current stock and won't be reproduced anymore, and offering a 60% discount code on all of his products. However, this wasn't the first time he was claiming to shut down his fragrance, as he had already made several posts with the exact same picture in the past, saying the exact same thing, and fans began to call him out saying, again, he's closing the business like 5 times a year. His behavior only led fans to speculate that Jeremy was perhaps lying about the discontinuation, just to urge fans to spend $600 buying his perfumes, with some of them commenting, bro needs more Pokemon. And this was got further proven when he posted a new video on July 26, 2025, titled, My Fragrance Journey Continues, where he showed more signs of either stopping production. Although Jeremy's religious awakening had been one of the major turning points of his career, his religious appearance became a bit questionable as he continued to post things that don't really look religious. And despite wearing a cross on his neck, his YouTube videos kept being inappropriate.
You know what I did? I stimulated my penis. Not that I came, but I was on my Instagram, I was chatting with girls, and blah.
When confronted about this by his brother,
you always say you're the number one X-Fakers icon following some of the stuff that I see. How do you console that part with sharing some and half of your Instagram? What's the correct way?
If you think about a person like actor that is in a stripper movie, and or some guy that is actually married but has sex in a movie with another woman. Is that actually correct to do as a person?
Although a lot of his fans believe Jeremy was just playing up this persona for the internet to get more views, more evidence of his creepy behavior surfaced in 2018 when model Sarah Harris posted an Instagram story exposing Jeremy's private messages to her on Snapchat, where he was clearly flirting and making inappropriate comments towards her, like saying, "You hot woman, you know what I do with you after we have our dinner in a fine restaurant together, and you wear your sexy dress." But Sarah wasn't interested in him, so she politely rejected him by saying it's not gonna happen. But instead of backing down, Jeremy went all in and responded with, "It will happen intensely, babe. You will wear a pretty black dress and show your chest like you always do. I'll kiss you and press you down and open my business suit pants. You start sucking my rooster then for 2 minutes." Seems like instead of taking the hint, Jeremy was doubling down, thinking her attractive outfits automatically gave him the green light to degrade her like that, which she once again politely declined by saying, "That's a dream you have, it will never happen. I might look sexual, but I'm not a hoe." After seeing that doubling down had clearly failed, Jeremy got angry and started attacking her personally by saying things like, "You are not 18 years old and you know time is passing. You use your time now wisely and choose the best people for you for the future and for DJs you give. You know which great men deserve great things from you." As Sarah got understandably mad at these personal assumptions and ridiculous attacks, Jeremy decided to end the conversation by saying, "Have fun in life, the clock is ticking. You should go around now to get your validation back that it took from you." After Sarah posted these screenshots online to expose him, Jeremy's reputation in the community started falling apart quickly with people commenting, "I definitely believe he's pressured girls plenty of times. He's a total lunatic and narcissist." Seeing the damage to his ego, he immediately tried to call her to fix things, but Sarah wasn't the type of girl to give someone as disrespectful as Jeremy another chance. This left him with no choice but to further prove his narcissistic side by texting her on Instagram to manipulate her and try to act like the victim instead. He said, "You have put me in depression with your accusation. I was thinking of a suicide because of your accusation." And even tried to guilt trip her by saying, "I wanted to kill myself and quit my YouTube business because of you." However, his tactics failed miserably, and Sarah, to her credit, didn't budge under his pressure at all. And people online started calling him out by saying, "Dude is a certified fan." Jeremy's creepy side showed up once again years later, when he grew tired of waiting to find a life partner, and he decided to take matters into his own hands and post on TikTok.
You must be Christian and you must be under 32.
And eventually changing up the criteria to fit his vision of a partner.
Christian, under 32, and the characteristics of a supportive woman that lets the man be the man and she as a woman has the housewife attitude while still being a super sexy woman.
Those who did meet his criteria, he added them on Snapchat of all places, and started sending them videos of himself, asking them to send videos back to verify themselves.
I asked for a video of you. Can you send me a video of you saying something like, "Hi, Jeremy"?
And sometimes he would even address girls mocking their physical appearance.
Hey, pretty woman with a...
Un guerrero no necesita
Before
armas.
moving on to inappropriate questions.
Is it possible at your age that you're still a virgin, Maria?
Not only were his questions uncalled for, but his behavior was downright creepy and vulgar.
I gotta interrupt your video. I got totally a boner seeing your face and seeing you talk. Totally a boner in my pants, but I'm not going to show it.
And most of these girls were just above the legal age of 18 years old, which was almost half of Jeremy's age, and he was calling them ultra young. Not only was he sharing disgusting details of his erections with these girls, but he was also asking them questions such as, "Will you swallow my if you want to, Rory? Yes or yes, babe?" As well as trying to convince these young girls to send them nudes, saying, "And I want to see even without underwear and just your hand in front of your you-know-what. Send me that when you go now to restroom, Corey." This shed light on his religious act as people began calling him out saying, "This is not the teaching of Jesus." Even during his usual street interviews with women, sometimes his behavior would seem a bit strange.
Is it okay that I smell you in this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
You don't have a fragrance on.
And as this commenter pointed out, he went for the sniff even before she said yes. While others thought this was just Jeremy's desperation to get a girlfriend, sarcastically commented, "You're telling me the man in his 30s who is desperate for a partner, but can't seem to get one, behaves weirdly around women? Who could have foreseen this?" Today, Jeremy Fragrance is barely recognized as the same creator that once dominated the fragrance space on YouTube. His content has spiraled into a chaotic mix of repetitive catchphrases, recycled videos, and bizarre antics that feel more like meme bait rather than meaningful reviews. His unique energy, brutally honest takes, and deep knowledge of fragrances has buried under non-stop promotion There's no real value anymore. The same titles, the same ratings, the same white suit. It's like watching an endless loop. Once known for influencing buying decisions and introducing niche scents to the mainstream, Jeremy's opinions no longer carry weight. Viewers don't trust him to be objective because almost every video circles back to plugging his own product. But his fans in the fragrance community still love and miss him, and they're always watching his old videos and leaving comments saying, "I missed this version of you, Jeremy," and "Prime Jeremy, you used to be our hero. Miss him so much." If you like this video, you'll probably enjoy these next ones as well, and don't forget to subscribe.
Fargo is your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo. Fargo lets you do this. Fargo, turn off my...
From kickstarting their own YouTube careers to redeeming themselves in the public eye, my name's Ryan, and here's what happened to all of iShowSpeed's girlfriends. Starting with Dream, who is one of his earliest girlfriends, and arguably one of the most loved ones by his fans, who used to constantly flood the comments saying things like, "Please don't mess this up, she's a keeper bro. Don't lose this girl. I can tell she's the one for you." Dream met Speed for the first time during a stream when his cousin Marcus set them up on a literal blind date.
The reason why I'm here, you feel me, is my boy fucking Marcus, man. But anyways, y'all, he said he got me on with a good-ass blind date, you feel me, and shit, you feel me?
They connected over their shared interest in anime.
You watch One Piece,
I
right?
like that.
Who your favorite character?
Luffy.
Luffy?
Yeah.
Luffy?
Yeah.
My girl.
And seemed to hit it off with each other right from the start.
Would you go about to save her life? Like if her life was on the line, would you go about to save her life? Do it?
Oh, you would? Okay, that's good.
Damn, she, damn.
I'm about to say this, so we can just go out together.
Damn, she fine, chat.
She even went as far as to match his chaotic energy without holding back.
W's in the chat.
And it only took 2 days for Speed to fall head over heels for her.
I love you so much, honestly. I said, I like you so much. Do you like me?
Yes.
You like me,
Dream was funny, and her vibe perfectly matched the stream. And the fans kept wanting to see more of her even to this day. "She's so good, bro. You love me." Speed then kept bringing her on stream and started pranking her in hilarious new ways. Eventually, they just did nothing but hang out in front of the camera all day, and Dream slowly started retreating into the background over time, while Speed kept up the energy to keep the chat entertained.
Jay! Chat!
Soon enough, Dream started expressing a lot of complaints to the chat.
I think he wants to be friends. He's not sure with his intentions. Like, I'm not sure what he wants to be. He just guides me one place to the next time, and it's another place. Like, I'm just so confused. Like, I don't know. Okay, guys. He's the slowest texter ever. I could literally be dying if he wanted to text me back.
And that made the fans begin siding with her for a while. They started getting frustrated at Speed for mishandling the relationship, saying, "It literally hurts my brain to see how this dude completely fails and how to react with her. It's a shame because she is good for him." But then, on October 15, 2021, Speed's mom interrupted a live stream, and everything went downhill from there.
Having all these different types of girls in here, you know, it's disrespect.
No, wait, Mom, say no, say
You need to figure out what you're gonna do.
Mom, who you gonna do?
There, what?
Speed was
Having all these different types of girls in here, you know, it's disrespect.
No, wait, Mom, say no, say no.
You need to figure out what you're gonna do.
Mom,
who you gonna do? There, what?
Speed was getting exposed by his own mom for bringing multiple girls over right in front of Dream.
No, dude. No, chill. My mom loves Marcus' cousin. Chill, Dream, chill. My mama, Dream, chill. Oh God, no. Oh, my mom, so time out. Can I sit? I'm not time out.
Dream was pretty upset about the whole thing and immediately demanded answers.
I trusted you when you did this. And you're sitting here lying to me like I'm stupid. This is not a joke. Like, I don't want to stay on the stream while I'm sitting here. My feelings are hurt right now.
But Speed kept running away from accountability.
Chill out, bro. You tripped out, bro. Just chill out. Chill out, bro. Oh God, you tripping, bro.
Like your mom just said, you have to pick or choose something because you have multiple girls in here. She literally just literally just came here and said that. Why would she lie about that? Why would your own mom come here and lie about that?
Eventually, Dream had enough.
Please, come on. Like, I'm dead ass. Like, just let me go. My feelings are hurt. I don't want to stand right here no more. Oh, no, wait. Time out. Chill. Let me call Marcus.
And she had a lot to say about Speed while on her way out.
This is bad. This is really
Bro, my feelings are hurt. You want me to sit on the stream? Like, that's weird as fuck. I want to go. Like,
my feelings hurt too.
For what? You're the one.
Because you're not letting me explain myself. You really like me to let me explain myself.
Like, you're actually disgusting me right now.
Yeah.
You're sick. Bye. Wow.
Fucked up again, bro.
Fans realized how immature Speed was being and called him out, saying the fact that he only ended the stream when his feelings were hurt, but not when she was upset. About 5 days later, Kai Cenat conducted a therapy-style intervention, but it didn't help. Speed lashed out, screamed, and yelled at Dream, and kept playing the victim card by crying uncontrollably.
Shut the fuck up! Be quiet! Hey!
Before finally admitting to what the fans of Dream had suspected all along.
I'm like, okay.
I cheated! No, I'm fucking not. I cheated on you, Dream.
Even though Dream was ready to give Speed another chance,
Out, bro, like that. I told you to end the stream. We could talk about it. You was like acting like you were talking in the moment, like you couldn't hear me or anything. So that's why I left. Darren, I miss you. I'm so tired of this. I'm really over it.
Cheated on you, though. I cheated on you, bro.
I know
You still love me when I cheated on you. I cheated on you for another fucking girl.
he chose to keep streaming. At the end of Kai's stream, he finally took some accountability for his actions, but it was too little too late. Despite Dream's multiple attempts at trying to get him to come crawling back, Speed said the unthinkable.
I don't want to go up another one.
Hey, look, and look. That's enough, alright? That's all you have to say. Like, I'm cool with that.
And left the streaming world shocked by his thoughtless response. Eventually, the pair reconciled, and Dream even came back on stream multiple times.
My boy Jay donated over $500. $500 because he wanted to, you know what I'm saying? That I'm ready to see it, bro.
But things were never going to be the same. The fans stuck by Dream through all of it though. Nobody to blame but yourself, Speed. Dream did nothing wrong. Get the help you need. Up until a few years later, when she made her comeback, hey, I'm an editor now. I also now have a public Snapchat account for 18 plus photos and videos. And was basically shunned by most of Speed's community. Crazy how she does OF now. Speed even called Dream 3 years after the breakup.
Yes, Daddy, I miss you so much. Oh my God, I literally miss you so bad. Like, you don't even understand.
Now you're trolling.
I think she got mad.
Only to get rejected by her immediately.
Like, I want to get back together.
Darren, I don't know. I can't do it right now.
Despite her massive following on Instagram, Dream chose to spend the rest of her days outside of the limelight.
I literally still get antagonized to this day.
While Dream is busy staying out of the public eye, Aaliyah Wasco found herself being remembered for all the wrong reasons. She was once Speed's high school crush.
I need you in my life. Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, I need you in my life. Like, that ass.
A man who works hard, sweats hard. Old Spice tried to fight sweat, so Coach thought I was slacking. So I trained with my Old Spice, and I became the best player ever. Sometimes a man must overcompensate.
And their light flirting on screen quickly caught the viewer's attention early on.
Look at your face.
Speed finally met Aaliyah in person when he took her to prom.
Hey, Aaliyah. Oh, you look so good.
And she came across as a sweet, down-to-earth girl.
What do you mean? No. You look, bro, you're cute. You're beautiful. What are you talking about?
It was your first time seeing me in person, so I was asking.
The prom was a major success for both of them, and it was clear the duo had chemistry, but eventually, Speed's need to entertain the viewers started getting on Aaliyah's nerves, and she was too polite to say anything to him.
It was just personality. I couldn't even spend time with you. So, not that ass right. I tell you that. You what? Yeah, I didn't want to abandon our date like that.
Since Speed was busy streaming all the time, some incriminating clips of Aaliyah surfaced online. but watch his self-esteem erode away. And Speed has surfaced online. And Speed could do nothing but watch his self-esteem erode away. When Speed confronted Aaliyah, she tried to defend herself.
This is somebody who knows what they did and found out that I was not okay with it, cut them off. After I cut this person off, I was blocked on everything. I cut them off not even saying that I was going to come forward about anything. Cut them off, got blocked on everything, and instantly all of this stuff on me was getting exposed, and which is old, and it was from October, before I had ever even been on your stream.
But things just kept getting weird from there.
My name was getting slandered from stupid, dumb TikToks.